Good evening, parents. Welcome to the Math 8 Back to School Night. This is going to be a introduction to all three math classes, even though I am Mr. Garrigus, a teacher of one of three Math 8 teachers here at Thomas Jefferson. It is a pleasure to have you here and welcome. I want to walk you through basically our Math 8 program here at Thomas Jefferson. You'll see that one of the main um, one of the main arteries here of communication is our Google Classroom. This is the place where it all begins. You can see this is all of our classes are set up relatively the same. You'll see what period your students are automatically sent to this site. Here's the update for the Zoom link for today. I just put that on at 5:55. And this is where kids go to get updates. We do a lot of Pear Deck activities, which is the slideshow and the links for the day's activities. Your kids are going to find all of their work here. So if they're absent, this is a great place to go. We separate by weeks. You can see there's a lot of assignments due on Friday. We've done some ed puzzles and some GeoGebra. This is the different kinds of curriculum. And some rigid transformations. Some Khan Academy is due. And this is my second period class as an example, and a fun Desmos activity. The students will find if they do any violation of classroom rules, and I'll show you the rules here in a second, they fill out, if it's a minor offense, a little behavior check system. So they click on that, and if they have done something wrong, like chewing gum or whatnot, they'll go in and they will put in their name and their ID number. They need to put the period. And here's our RISE. This is my classroom rules: follow, respect, integrity, safety, and excellence. It asks what they did wrong and what choice they could have made. What choice will I make in the future? And then I require that all students click on send me a copy of my responses so that I can look at their email. They can forward me their responses, and then we can go over them and talk about those. Further down in our Google Classroom, you will find the other past weeks of work to go ahead, and if they have something missing, they'll click on it. And you can see this particular class, this ed puzzle is 13 are unfinished. But if we go further back, you can see that most of them are graded and turned in. Okay, very important, at the bottom of the classwork section, you're going to find student class information, bell schedules there. So if they need to know what their next class is, and then class rules and routines will be there. Now the routines, here's our class rules. Again, be respectful, have integrity, maintain a safe learning environment, and be excellent. So the routines are there just to refer back to if there's something going wrong, but we don't spend an elaborate amount of time going over all the routines until it's absolutely necessary if something's not being followed. You'll want to find the syllabus in here. The syllabus for the enhanced and for the Math 8 class is posted in this location. And it's got the basic information of what our course units are, my email, the course description, and of course, what's expected in Google Classroom, Khan Academy, materials, behavior, attendance, and our grading policy. It's very important that kids are turning in their classwork. It's worth 45% of grades. Assessments are really the big mover of the A's, B's, and C's. You need to do well in assessments to get A's. And homework is 10%. We have not assigned any homework yet this year, but there will be homework coming soon. So that's basically the Google Classroom. It's really important that students make sure that they're turning in their information. Also here you'll find what lesson we're on. So here's the lesson notes. For lesson 1, we did rigid transformations, and you can see that we did some pretty neat work here on paper. We also worked on these in GeoGebra, and I'll show you that in a second. We did all these and they performed all of these transformations, the translation here, the reflection, and they did rotations. Here you can see with writing rules, but they were able to do it using a program called GeoGebra, which is actually, they were walked through it in Ed Puzzles, and um, they have an example of what they're supposed to turn in right here. This is what your students have been doing in my class, and they've been doing in some of the other classes something similar to this, or the Ed Puzzles, where they're actually performing these things. Which brings me to the curriculum. Your students will have access to all of these things on their Clever. Khan Academy is a big portion of our curriculum. The textbook is here. They'll, if they want to get access to the textbook, they click on the red McGraw-Hill. It will launch their textbook here, and we jump around a little bit. So we're in transformations to begin with. They would choose lesson 1, and we have all these awesome resources for them, where these are actual examples in the book. There's a tutor that goes through how to solve all the problem, and you might ask, well, how would they get to the book? Well, there's a tab here that says ebook, and if they click on it, it will take them to the page that they're supposed to be on. If they've selected the right lesson, if not, they can go right in the bottom, and they can choose single page. It says 452. Well, they need to be on 454 to start, and it will pop up translations in the coordinate plane, and we can make that bigger if we want so they can actually see it. And that is pretty nifty right there. And so what we have is, that's the textbook, basically. Going back to Clever, we have our Khan Academy. You can see in Khan Academy, if I open a little new tab here, we have Khan. And we have 2 programs in Khan. We have our Map Accelerator, which is the intervention, and they'll see that on the left. They'll see a Map Accelerator and assignments. So let's say I went to my second period class. They don't have a lot of assignments right now. My students are there. I click on the assignments. They're due Friday. There's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 assignments due, and they need to get those turned in. They need to finish all things assigned. And for the exercises, what's great is that when kids click on the exercises, if they don't quite understand how to do an exercise, it has really nice practice here, where it says do 4 problems, but if they don't know the answer, here, reflect a shape. Oh, okay, well, maybe I don't know how to do that. I put it down here, and I get this shape here, but I get it a little bit wrong, and I try. Oh, no, it says give it another shot. Well, let's try a hint. Oh, okay, well, I see that there's a mirror image here, another hint, another hint, another hint, but they're learning. Now they're going to get it wrong. I would have to set it in the right position, and when they get it right, they're going to get a little beeping sound. And I'm going to try to get this right on there. Try that. Let's see how close I can. And they'll get a little buzz like that. So they need to finish all their assignments. There's also support videos in there that if they still don't get it, it'll take them right to the video, and they can click on it. And the tutor will go right through and tell them exactly what they need to learn.
So we can see the entire coordinate axis.
So that's our Khan program. We also have a few other things that we use. We use GeoGebra, which your students have been doing, and I mentioned that before. There's your GeoGebra. This is their next lesson was dilations. So they dilate from the origin. This pre-image is increased by a factor of 2, so you make it twice as big, half as big, or on the other side. So that's the GeoGebra. It's pretty nifty. They can play with the point of dilation and really get an understanding of what it means to have a point of dilation. And we have fun with that. Finally, we have Desmos is another big opportunity for them to do some other fun activities. We are doing transformations, so they play with transformations, with reflections, translate, reflect, translate. There's also a rotate in there. And later on, we'll do lines, and we have some fun marble slides. And yeah, it's pretty fun curriculum. We also have what are called ed puzzles. And I'll show you what those look like in one moment while we watch these marbles zip down the ramp. And here they come to the end and success. And finally, we do have ed puzzle. The ed puzzles are fun. They have really great questions in them.
Welcome
And
to
they run
the
through the
final of
lesson,
our
so they
three
get a
rigid
second
transformations
chance and
activity
opportunity. And
using
that's it with our
GeoGebra. It's
curriculum.
great to have you.
If you have any questions, please call, contact me. Feel free to email. And I'm going to make this video available as a walkthrough for everybody, parents included.